Alright, in this tutorial we are going to learn how to stitch together pictures and create a panoramic picture. Some of the objectives that I want you to get out of this lesson is to kind of master or become more familiar with using masks and blending photos together using masks. Masking is something very important and very useful in Photoshop. And after this activity, I hope that you'll be well versed and confident in using masks and know when to use masks and how to use masks in Photoshop. Okay, so you have these four files open, Pano 2, 3, 4, and 5. Go ahead and select 5. And the first thing that we're going to do is we need to expand the canvas so that we have room to put these 3 other photographs in. So to do that, and if you don't have this project bin, if it's closed, you can always click Reset Panels to open them up. Click on Pano 5, and I want you to go to Image, Resize, and we're not going to go to image size, but we're going to go to canvas size, and that'll enable us to have more room to the side of the picture to add the 3 existing pictures. So go to canvas size, and now this is a little counterintuitive. You can see the dimensions right here, and what you're going to do is you're going to click where it says anchor. You're going to click to the left, meaning you're going to shift the picture to the left and open up room in the right. I know one would think that, oh, I'm going to click to the right because I want space to the right. Really, it's the opposite. So once you click to the left and it looks like this, we're only going to adjust the width. And right now it's 3.3 inches, right, this photograph. And so if we're going to add another 3, and it doesn't, you don't have to be precise here because we can always go back and add more to the canvas or take some off by cropping at the end. So it's not a huge deal. But let's go ahead and maybe add 11 inches. You'd think maybe adding another 12 to it or adding 9 to it. But there is going to be some overlap in these photographs. So it's not going to be a total of 12 or 13 or 14 inches. So let's just do 11 inches. See how that works out. Hit OK. And now you can see that I've expanded the canvas and it's looking something like this. So from here, I want you to click on the Move tool, and I want you to click on the next picture, Pano 4, and I want you to drag it up. And what we're going to do is we're going to line it up, right? And it's not going to line up perfect because I was simply standing on the side of the lake and I just took 4 pictures side by side, and I tried to overlap 15 to 20%. So to do this, what I'd recommend is go into your layer palette and changing the opacity of the layer and lowering it so that you can kind of see through both. That'll enable you to line it up a little bit better. And if you have to go up and down a little bit, that's fine too. All right. Once you line it up, then go back to your opacity and change it back to 100. So now I'm going to zoom in. Now we have to deal with this issue of there's a line right here, right? And we want to blend or stitch these photographs together. Well, how do we do that? We do that by masking. So I'm going to zoom in so you can see it. And what we're going to do is we're going to click on Pano 4 and we're going to add a mask. So click on a mask, and now we're going to click on the brush. And I'm going to change the opacity. We don't want 100% opacity. We want, the opacity is going to be up to you. I like to use a low number, and I also like to use a soft edge brush. Using a soft edge brush instead of like a hard edge like this one, a soft edge will help with blending as well. So select a soft edge brush. Maybe I like to start off with a larger size brush. It's a little bit easier than using a small one. Maybe around 200, 250. And I'm on black. I'm at around 20% opacity, around 200, 250 pixel size. Take a look what I'm going to do. I'm going to just click, drag up and down, side to side, and try to get rid of this line. Okay? And I'm just clicking ever so slightly to get rid of that line. And I'm blending, I'm stitching together, I'm blending this Pano 4 to the background layer by this mask. you can see if I right click disable it, that's the before and that's the after. Okay, and then I could scroll down, you can still see there's a line right here. Click, just blend, and you're just going to go up and down looking for lines and kind of blending that together. Now if I go out here, take a look what starts to happen, right? Well, I'm burning through my mask, getting to the background here, but I can't burn through this entire picture right here right now because this background layer only covers up to this point. So you can't mask past this point right here or else you're going to see white. Okay? So make sure if you get to this point and you start seeing white, that's the problem. Okay? So I'm going to go back to my mask. I'm going to go to white and I'm going to cover that up. Right? I'm going to cover that up. And now I'm going to zoom out. Remember, if it's not perfect, that's okay. Just do the best you can. This one you should get, you should be able to get pretty good. However, they get increasingly harder and harder. This last one is really tough to get it looking pretty good just because the exposure was a little off. After you blended this one, you do the exact same thing for this next photograph. You pull it in. You can see that there's some overlap. You're going to change the opacity and you're going to make sure that it lines up. It's not going to be exact, but close enough. And then go back and change the opacity to 100. And now you're going to zoom in and you can see the line, and you're going to do the same thing. So you're going to click on here, you go add a mask, and you're going to start blending the mask. Or you're going to start blending using the mask, and you can see how I kind of blend. 86% is a lot. I like to do less, and then you can just keep on clicking if you need more. So blend that in. Right? You can see there's some shadowing right here, or some ghosting right here, or whatever you want to call it. You can always change the size. Right? If I wanted to blend that out, make the brush size a little bit smaller. Right? So it's a combination of changing the brush size and the opacity, blending that so that it looks good. You can see right here if I zoom in, you can definitely see that line right there. So I'm going to go back to my brush, maybe make it a little bit bigger, change the opacity. So you're not always set on one standard opacity setting or brush size. It's a balance, right? And then I might keep on clicking here, and that actually looks pretty good. Okay, there's a little bit of a line, so kind of ghost that or mask that out. And you're going to do the same for the next picture as well. All right, this one's really tough. One option that you might want to do is make this darker before you start masking it out. So if you position it, you can see that it's really light. What you can do is you can make it darker and then try to mask it, enhance, adjust lighting, brightness, and make it a little bit darker. Try to do that as well. But that's making a permanent edit to that photograph. But you know, do what you want. Try to match it as close as possible and mask it out and blend it. And then once you're finished, what you're gonna do once you're finished with all four, what you can do is you can use the crop tool and make sure you're on no restrictions. So you can select, and if you have some white showing up top or on the bottom, that's fine. And then you can just rotate it if you want to straighten it out, and then you can hit OK, and now you have a nice pano. And obviously, hopefully this one's blended a little bit better than that. So There you go. And your layer palette should look like this, but you should see some blending or burning through with this mask right up here for this last photograph.